it's me. It's your boy, the Louisiana Country Boy, coming at you live once more again. Also, what I need for you to do, sit back, relax, put on your headgear. All my worthless 2 cents is about to put something in your ear. Oh, and here we go, here we go, here we go. Oh, yeah, it's me. It's your boy, the Louisiana Country Boy, coming at you live once more again with another episode. With another episode of my worthless 2 cents table talk, where your approval is not needed. And old country boy is honored and humbled and just this and tickled purple. I'm tickled purple. I'm tickled purple tonight because I have a very special guest all the way from what they call it, East Texas. Ooh, I got me an East Texas guest tonight. Boy, look at here. You know, I was drawn to this young lady, and I'll just give y'all the bag. You know, I never ever just reach out and go do anything. I follow whatever the good Lord tells me. When He leads somebody, He go boom. I reach out, and if they decide they want to come on, then they're more than welcome. If they decide they don't want to come on, they're more than welcome to say no. But I was drawn to this young lady, and then I got to reading about all the wonderful things. Hey, Miss Julie, all the wonderful things she's doing in East Texas. And I said, I just got, okay, Lord, I'm coming. You know what I'm doing next. And I know she probably like, Lord, who is this and what do you want? And why is you bothering me? Who is this person? But she graciously accepted. She graciously, and in our conversation, I tell y'all, man. So I ain't gonna say nothing else. I done done my what they say. I done my due diligence. I done my due diligence. So from here on out, I want y'all to get to know this wonderful, wonderful lady. I want y'all to get to know the wonderful things she's doing. And the only way you can do that is not through me. You get to hear it straight from her. So, without further ado, what I need for y'all to do is something for me. What I need for each and every one to do is this. Relax, put on your headgear. Oh, Coach Ford, all the way from East Texas. Put something in their ear. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you so much for having me. Definitely elated and appreciative that you did reach out for me to be a part. So let's do it. Let's do what it do.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something. Most maybe folks don't know that that's their country that do what it do.
Do what it do.
Hey, that I love it. Well, look, Coach. One, if you don't, well, maybe you don't know anything about the platform. I don't have this thing, so like list of questions. I'm not like them other folks where I done wrote down 50 million questions. Cause one, I can't remember all of them anyway. And two, me and her just had a conversation. I just found my glasses and they were sitting here on the desk the whole while. So I ain't got a list of questions that I'm gonna ask. That's why what this is called is table talk. And I don't know how you came up. Okay, but when I came up in the country, when we sat at the table, ain't nobody have a whole list of questions that they was going back and say, oh, I need to ask this. What we did was we just sat and we talked and we communicated and we got to know about one another. So that's why you are here, because you are doing wonderful things. And I want to allow you on God's platform. Let me clear this up so you know this. This is not my platform. In no way, shape, form, or fashion. It is not mine. This platform belongs to God. He just said, hey, old country boy, I'm gonna let you be the doorkeeper. And that's all I do is watch over this thing. And I do it to the best of my ability. So with yourself and everything that you're doing, I just want you to be able to use this to let the and to share with the people your purpose, your vision, and the work that you're already doing. So go ahead, girl. I'm sorry. I'll be running my mouth. I'll be gone. You got look. Hey, you got to do me like my co-host do me. You know how my co-host do me on the other show?
What they do? Time up. Time up. Okay. Well, I'm not one that like talking about myself, but I will give a little background. I was born and raised in East Texas, a city called Lufkin, which is about 2 hours from Houston, 3 hours from Dallas. I grew up playing sports, was an avid basketball player, ran track, just kind of naturally gifted in the athletic realm of things. But I also grew up in church. My grandmother, my aunties, and my mother raised me in church. And one of the things that I have learned, hindsight, as I've gotten older, is God revealed my purpose to me when I was in high school. But like most high school children or students, wasn't really trying to hear it. He was really telling me that I was supposed to go down the ministry path as it relates to connecting faith and sports and faith and fitness. But I chose to do what most people want to do, and that was to chase the money. So I went to college, pursued a degree, and first in physical therapy. And it's amazing. I won't say crazy, but it's amazing how God, even when we don't follow his perfect will, that
Mm,
how his permissible will still put us back in alignment with what he already originally ordained for our life in the first place. And so I said all that to say is just from the time that I started playing basketball, learned so many life lessons to now he has blessed me to open up a 12,000 square foot sports performance facility here where we are able to cater to fitness and sports athletes. That was a 7 year dream. I
wow.
was faithful for 7 years to praying about it, sacrificing ton of days I wanted to give up, but I was confident that that was something that God was calling me to do because as I was growing up, not only did I see what I lacked from a
Mm,
performance standpoint, but what I fell victim to was idolizing basketball. And so I just wanted to make sure that I could share my story and helping people understand that, culture has expectations, family has expectations. So many have people have these expectations, but it's not until we understand who we are in Christ that we
yes.
can be confident in following what he has for us and not be so worried about other people's 2 cents about what they think we should be doing. And so when I became okay with that, sky has been the limit. And I say that with humility that we are only really scratching the surface here in East Texas, but definitely want fifth quarter performance to be a ministry to the athlete in and beyond sports and fitness.
Wow. Wow. That is amazing. So let me ask you, and from there, from East Texas, and are there a lot of other places even when you were growing up, were you fed what you're feeding?
No, when I was growing up, AAU was kind of something that I played, but it was one of those things that was just kind of really becoming prevalent. We didn't have a lot of trainers. I never grew up working with the trainer. I grew up playing street ball. Walking to the park and just hooping it out. Like I feel like most kids need to do more of that nowadays, but
Right.
we didn't have the luxury of having trainers. Of course, you had gyms and things of that nature, but the sports performance industry and skill development industry is so evolving now. And I will say that there is a place for it, but growing up, I didn't have it, which allowed me to see the need because I also believe that we learn more and we grow more when we are exposed to more. And so
Yes.
it wasn't until I went to college and I was in Dallas for 5 years, almost 6 years, that I was exposed to the whole different, completely different side of the sports industry. And so in that, it started to click. Light
Right.
bulb started to click that, man, if this is something that I had when I was growing up, how much better I would have been. And I just believe that a lot of athletes, especially in rural cities like East Texas or Lufkin, they go off the muscle, which is not a bad thing. But as we know now, with where sports are going, there are meticulous details, just from movement, mental toughness, a whole different ball game outside of how do you develop yourself before the tip off or before
Right.
the first snap or before the first serve, whatever that looks like for you before the gun goes off, is how do you develop yourself outside of your sport to
Mm,
make sure that not only are you a great athlete, a great player, but even more so, a great person and an even better disciple. And that's what we stand on.
Wow. Wow. You know, and I applaud you because so many people say so many things about the generation. And I have my own take on it. My take on it is when people say, well, this generation, that. I say this generation is only mirroring what we have fed this generation. They're only mirroring the things that we've poured in. We get so caught up with pointing at how terrible something is, but we've never poured anything is to make it any different.
Right.
And I applaud you for one, recognizing recognizing the need, and two, stepping up and accepting the calling. That you know, some people get the phone and it get the ring and they just hang that thing up like, that ain't for me. I ain't doing that. Nope, nope, nope. Must be the wrong number. I don't know why they keep calling. God, why is you calling me right now? But accepting that, and that speaks volumes. That speaks so highly of you. That speaks so highly of the things that were instilled in you. You know, isn't it crazy that you don't realize the things that were instilled in you?
Yeah, to get older, you're like, what are you telling me this for? Why does this matter now? But yes, definitely hindsight, yes. Yes.
Man, that is. So tell me about look, girl, tell me. Look, I don't know you. Tell me, girl, tell me. I know you don't like talk. You ain't got to talk about yourself. Just talk about the surroundings. Talk about where did you go to college?
Say it again.
Where did you go to college at?
Okay, I went to college at University of Texas in Arlington. I
Okay,
have a degree in Bachelor of Science in Exercise Physiology, Exercise Science. Outside of, let's see, my life consists of running my business. Or I should say stewarding my business. Let me say it that way.
like
Um,
that, like that, like that.
Ministry, serving, and as he keeps saying, just like I'm country to the T. So if you don't catch me at the gym, at the crib, at church, you're gonna catch me hunting, fishing, riding horses, four wheelers, or whatever. For me, that's just a way of having balance. If I could speak to any entrepreneur, really any believer, but especially believers who are entrepreneurs, the word that I have adopted, like for the last 2 years, has been balance. I think we get so caught up in being consumed with certain things that we lose our touch with just one with ourselves. A lot of times
Yeah,
we can lose our touch with God, lose our touch with family. So I've been very intentional about making sure I balance. If so, balance for me is heading out to the country, saddling up, ride. Like I said, four wheelers, hunting season. Those are things that I find joy in doing. And in addition to that, as you probably know, there's so many life lessons in nature.
yeah.
Um, so much peace, tranquility in nature. So yes, outside of the things I've already shared, the other thing about I'm country, country,
Hey,
pig country. I don't do the chitlins, but I do some pig feet. Y'all can have
hey, look here, coach. You know what I tell them? I tell them I'm hot water cornbread and collard greens country. Okay.
that part. That part.
That's country. That's how country I am. You know, but there's something about it. You know, speaking of country, I came up in a little old country town myself. You know, I'm from a little old town in northern Louisiana. Um, you know, and just this country, but there's something that gets instilled in you in those places that sometimes even now being in the city that you look at that so many myths.
Yeah.
Um, I think some people have gotten, and I just piggybacking on something you said about balance. So many people have gotten caught up in chasing the bag.
Mhm. Yeah.
So many people have gotten caught up in chasing the bag is when they finally catch it, the bag is actually empty because they've spent everything. And when I say spent everything, I ain't talking about monetary, but you've spent everything. You haven't spent. You wasted the time with your family. You wasted time discovering who you were. You wasted time discovering your purpose, chasing the bag.
Yeah. And I have that philosophy about the word grind. That's thrown. I'm grinding. I'm grinding. And I'm a big words person. So when you look at the definition of grind, and literally when you grind something, it diminishes it. And
Mm,
so often people who continue to have this grind mentality, like you said, they look up and they've chased so long a certain thing or a certain bag or whatever that looks like, and they grind, grind, grind. So by the time they reach a certain part in life, they've diminished themselves. As individuals, as people, some as husbands, as wives, as fathers, as mothers, and at that point we have nothing else to pour out because we've grind so much. And that's honestly something that I had to mature out of, because I was one of those people where early night or late nights, early mornings, I felt like if I wasn't up doing what I needed to do and all those different type of things, um, that I was not going to be successful. And it was opposite. I had to learn there's a difference in being busy and being productive, and just
mm,
making sure that my mindset was on productivity and not just saying I'm trying to fill my schedule. And that
yeah.
goes back to that balance piece, that I can get up, 4:30, do what I need to do. My day is whatever it is, and when work is over, guess what? Work over. I don't take work home. You know, I don't take work to the deer stand. I don't take work to the fishing lake. None of that. When work is over, work is
Yes.
over.
Yes. And that's, and I'll say to you, it's a wonderful thing to find it early in life. Let me just say that early in life. Some of us didn't find that thing till later on in life. Um, but to be able to find it, and I'm the same, I got a 5-year old who is my executive producer. And let me tell you, when we are together, then we are together. And that's what a lot of people miss. We spend time. There is no let me go do this work thing, or let me go do this, or we forget. I, we go to work to provide for our families, but at the same time, we go to work so much we are neglecting the very thing that we said we're going to provide for.
Yeah. You didn't say you was a preacher now. You didn't say all that. You just said you was a country boy. Preach, Reverend.
Look here, look here. This is back coach count. We just sitting around the old barrel.
Just talking facts. Like the barrel. Porch talk. Yes, sir.
But and that's what, when I see it now, and I see the things that, because a lot of people also talk about the thing called, these generational curses and these things that need to be broken, but we keep on perpetuating it because we ain't breaking it. Because what we're doing is we're saying, I'm trying to break the generational curse. So I'm going out here and I'm gonna provide for my family. I'm gonna make sure my family got all of this, and I'm gonna buy them the biggest house, and I'm gonna buy them the finest car. But you ain't giving them damn drop of love and attention.
And I think that equates to this is actually something that we've been talking through at my home or at my church. Is I think a lot of people who are called to lead, if that's in your household or whatever, there's so much lack of vision.
Mm,
And with the lack of vision, as we know, the Bible says the people perish. And I don't believe that's just speaking to physically perish. I mean, there's so many different ways we can perish. Um, in addition to that, we don't have vision that we can strategically, not off the whim, but strategically reach the next generation.
yes,
Which is why I take the vision of fifth quarter performance so important and so serious, is because for me it's ministry, and there's a vision of understanding that the vehicle for me to disciple right now is through sports. And as you're saying, so many people get caught up in chasing this, that, and the other, and they don't have a vision beyond paying the next bill, but understanding like, okay, you pay this bill, but you have children you need to raise that need to go to college, or they might want to start a business. So Do you have vision enough to make investments? Do you have vision enough to make sure sometimes you just got to say no? You know,
Yes,
we can't be like the Joneses or whatever, but understanding that the sacrifices I make now as the leader, because I do have a vision, it may be uncomfortable, but down the road, we can look back and see, like, hey, I did what I needed to do to actually provide for my family beyond the immediate need.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. That is so it. And you talk about them Johnsons. Girl, let me tell you about them Johnsons. You don't know what them Johnsons had to sacrifice to get where they at. A lot
Mhm.
of time, baby. Here go the other thing I tell folks all the time, baby. You riding down the road, you see these big old mansions, and you looking at them, and you riding, and you like, "Ooh, that there is nice. I want that," but ain't nothing on the inside, and that's like some of us. We all pretty on the outside, boy. We mansions up, okay.
Yeah.
The lawn is perfectly manicured on the outside,
Mhm.
but when you open the door, it's hollow and empty.
Empty. My. Hmm. That is true.
How terrible is that? That you have done everything to prove to the world. Lord, I done everything to prove to the world I made it.
And it can't.
Lord, look at me. But in here, it's just as empty.
Mhm.
Ain't no peace.
Mhm.
Ain't no joy.
Yeah.
Because what we have done in this society that I have seen and I've been guilty of myself is we have tied our worth to our belongings.
Yeah. That's true. So many people. So many people. And I just think that goes with cultural expectations. I mean, we in a world of social media. Everybody knows that. And so as much time we spend scrolling and like you said, driving and seeing a mansion, but then we come across I went through a phase in college where you have all these people that's your age and they're getting this and they getting that and they getting this and they doing this. And I'm like, now wait a minute. We graduated together. I know you ain't that smarter than me. Like, what is going on? And one of the things I realized though, in all honesty, is that African Americans, we don't understand the importance of inheritance. That was the first thing I learned.
Mm,
The second thing I learned in that was a lot of people put a lot up for right now, but then they don't have anything on the backside
mm.
because they spend it all up front versus making the sacrifices up front and making those investments so and then on the backside you're living a carefree life. But we get so caught up in the microwave society. I want it now. I want it quick. I mean, you got all of these I mean, coaches out here that's selling, you know what I'm saying, courses talking about I can teach you to make this, that, and the other in 30 days. Like all of this stuff we want it so fast. And if
Yes.
if that easy, if it was that easy, that's what I have to ask. If it was that easy, everybody would be doing it.
Hey, well, well, Coach, I got to tell you, last week on my show, I gave away the secret to success.
Which is what? Let me hear the secret.
Attitude adjustment.
There we go. Yeah. Mhm.
And I gave it away for free. They didn't have to take no class. They didn't have to sign up for no course. I gave that one away for free.
Mhm.
Right there. The secret to success is attitude adjustment. It's how it's right here. It's right here. You know, man, I'm gonna jump back to something you said. And it's so funny that you said it because I that was one of the posts I did this morning. Though the vision may tarry.
Yeah. Wait for it.
But before it said that part is what so many people miss. What do you need to do? Write it down and make it plain.
Write it down. Make it plain. Yep.
Though the vision may tarry, and that's what when you said that about microwave, because everybody you didn't even write it down, but you say that you got it. This is my vision. And oh, it ain't here in a week.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it ain't happening right now. So I'm gonna jump on to something else. I can't wait for it to happen. See, here's what I discovered, Coach. Ooh, Lord gave me this one right here. You know what I discovered?
That.
It wasn't that the vision wasn't where it was supposed to be. It was that I wasn't prepared for it. It wasn't that
Yeah.
it wasn't there. It was mine the whole. See, I believe it's mine the whole while,
Mm-hmm.
but I have to be prepared emotionally, mentally, and spiritually to be able to not just obtain it.
But maintain it, sustain it. Yeah. Hey,
That,
I had to learn that. Like I said, fifth quarter performance. It was something he gave it to me in a dream in 11th grade, and like I said, I wasn't trying to hear that. One, who in 11th grade really wants to pursue a purpose in ministry? That's the first thing. Two, I did not know what entrepreneurship looks like. I'm a first generation entrepreneur.
mm,
Nobody in my family has ever started a business, run a business, any of that. Um, but it goes back to that faith factor. And through those 7 years, I was confident that this is what God had for me. I just did not know how it was going to pan out. But
mm,
it wasn't until after I got it, like you said, hindsight, he showed me, told me clear as day, like you had to tarry for 7 years because I was preparing you for the vision. I wasn't preparing the vision,
mm,
for you. I was preparing you for the vision because had I given it to you in 2021, if I given it to you in 2017, you would have messed it up because you
yeah,
weren't mature enough. You wouldn't. You didn't have enough faith. I mean, the list goes down. And so I look at that now and I understand why he made me wait. But in making me wait, he's developed a testimony that I
yes,
testify to other people. Like, if you are confident that that's what he's called you to do, if you're confident that that's what he's shown you, it will come to pass. I would say the other thing that really dawned on me too in the process of maturing in my faith is I used to always pray, Lord, make me successful, right?
mm,
And it convicted me one day. Actually, in reading the book, I now believe God don't make people successful. My personal belief is, even if you read in Joshua, it says, if you meditate on my word day and night, you will make your way prosperous and have good success. What so many people are seeking as they define success comes from us being diligent in his word.
yes,
Every answer, and I mean, any entrepreneur that's listening, every answer you could possibly want about your business, the plan, the systems, the personnel, the budget, the capital, all of it will only be revealed to you as much as you are in the Word of God. Period. And I started changing my prayer from being, Lord, make me successful, to Lord, give me the biblical wisdom to apply your precepts to the vision I know you've given me. When I started
yes.
praying, whole world changed. Whole
That's
world
it.
changed.
Well, because your perspective changed, and what, what, you stop making it about you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You stop making it, and that was the switch.
Yep.
Because what came to me just now is, thou shalt have no other God before me, and that's even ourselves. The switch was,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
bam,
Mm-hmm.
what?
For sure. That is definitely, yeah. It's so, I don't think we realize how easy it is for us to idolize things and people. It becomes so easy, especially when we don't spend enough time with him to
Yeah,
counter those temptations and counter those things that are more tangible. Because like I was saying, I dealt with idolizing basketball at the time. I couldn't see it. I mean, I just know I loved the game.
right.
But it wasn't until after I actually tore my ACL and went through rehab and surgery and all that, that he started revealing stuff about my heart, and that I was depending more on the applaud of people from basketball and things, and making my worth connected to their expectations and not,
Mm,
who he had called me to be, and even what his plan was in using sports. So I tell the kids all the time now, I never had a real desire to play in college because he told me when I was in high school that that wasn't for me. Had offers, chose not to play. And even though I chose not to play, every single day I get to wake up and still be around the game.
right.
And so them just understanding that, you know, what you may desire for your life, it may not be what God has for you. And it's okay.
Hey,
It's okay.
man. There's a famous quote that I have been quoting for over a year. I heard a pastor say this, and I said, look, I told him, man, look, I give you credit for it, Pastor Broussard. I'm gonna give you credit for the quote, but I'm hanging that thing. You know what he said?
What he
When
say?
our will lines up with God's will, then God will.
Oh yeah. Hey, tell him I'm gonna have to use that one too. Except I don't know him to give him credit, but nah. That's good. Yeah.
But and that thing, just the for me, that was that. That's it. Because
Hmm.
sometimes what I want, and what I've discovered for me personally is this: with less of me and more of him. When people say, well, what is God's will? When you start to less of you and more of him, then you start to understand what his will is.
Hmm.
Because now I equate it to this: is that when I was growing up, I really didn't have to. I was around my mama and them, and look at him. I didn't really ask her what was appropriate or not because I knew what her will was. I knew
Hmm.
there were certain things that was just not appropriate. I was certain things I just wasn't gonna do. So because I was around her and had a relationship, so I understood her will.
Yeah. So what you say, that R word?
Mm, that's the
I
one.
believe relationships are our best currency. Period.
Mm, yes,
Relationships are our best currency.
yes, 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 yes. I so agree. But some people don't even want that. Some people I've heard people say this, and maybe where I come from, I thought about crazy. I heard people say that they don't need nobody. I don't need nobody. I've never seen it. And I say, well, why don't you just go on out yonder? Because I don't know, you might be too young for this, but there used to be a show called, I think it was Gilligan's Island. They were shipwrecked and they were still trying to get off the island. And they were still trying to get back to civilization.
Hmm.
So why would you think I ain't never seen nobody say, okay, well, just put me on this boat and take me way out here and then leave and don't ever come back.
Hmm.
I seen folks that get lost in the woods and be trying to find their way out.
Right.
But you don't want to be around nobody. You don't need nobody.
Hmm. Everybody needs somebody.
Come on. Come on. And see, it's that thing is this. But we have to use our discernment to find out who it is that we should have around us. Sometimes we have surrounded ourselves with people just for comfort.
Comfort, convenience,
Mm.
credibility.
Come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
We look, we around we have surrounded ourselves with people. What my mama used to say was if we was on fire, they wouldn't even give us a drink of water.
Whew.
But
It's true.
we done surrounded ourselves and we have no discernment whatsoever. Or wait a minute, let me rephrase that. We have the discernment. We just choose to cut that switch and cut it off. We don't want to use it.
It go back to what we said earlier, worth. Just not knowing our worth because we don't know whose we are.
Mm, wow.
And I think so many times too, um, we put so much effort into addressing symptoms
Come
and
on.
trying to find solutions for symptoms, and we never get to the root cause. And so we do all of these things, like whatever it might be for individual people, and they keep going back to the same thing because all they're doing is they treating the symptom, they treating the symptom, they treating the symptom. But we don't stop to say like, what's causing me to think this way?
Right.
What's causing me to respond this way? What's causing me to continue in the pattern of, being in relationships with the same person
Yes.
or accepting the same people in my quote unquote inner circle, or allowing myself to be hurt by this type of person over and over again. And we keep treating the symptoms, but we never address what's the why.
Mm.
What is the why?
Girl, ooh, look, you barking straight up my tree right now. You know,
Not barking up your tree.
look, because that is so it. But the thing is about doing that. What and I never talk about another. Okay, I don't ever point out. I've learned that I have to take this thing and go right here. When am I going to be accountable for my actions? When am I going to hold myself accountable for my choices?
Mm-hmm.
And what I've discovered that for the longest, it was always about exterior. My hand was so good going this here way, okay? It was good going our Chandler way because it was them, and them and did it. It was them, and them. But if they hadn't, but they did, but then the point came when I had to take accountability and responsibility for myself, my actions, my choices, not blaming anybody else. Again, going to the root,
Mm-hmm.
going to the root. What makes me so comfortable going back in the situation?
Yeah.
What makes me so comfortable with this? What is this draw that lures me back in? I know it's bad for me.
Yeah.
You know, what was that? I'm trying to remember what that they used to say. People don't, when you date, it's different people, but they different faces, but the same person. We're different people, they the same. Now it's the same me that's choosing them
Mm,
people.
yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
I'm the one. It ain't that they were seeking me out. I was seeking them out.
Mm-hmm.
I was the one late. I was the one covering myself in honey, going around looking for the bees.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
call that thing. You know what I call that thing?
What's that?
Mirror check.
Look yourself in the mirror.
Mirror check.
Mirror, mirror, mirror on the wall. Mirror, mirror
Mirror
on
check.
the wall.
And I tell you, coach, I tell you something. This ain't no lie. I'm open, honest, and transparent. Look at it. It took me the longest time for many, many years. For many years in my house, every mirror was covered up. You know why? Because I didn't want to see that person in it. Every mirror was covered. I couldn't, because I didn't recognize the person that was in it. So I covered the mirrors because I would have to look at me, not look over there. Like I had to look at me.
Yeah,
And the worst thing that you could ever do is not be okay with looking at yourself.
that's true.
Because here go the catch. Baby, if you don't want to look at you,
Who else? Who else? Hmm.
shoot, that's what I tell them about. That's what I tell them now. Man, I enjoy me. Coach, I enjoy me and I enjoy the time that I spend with me, okay? I can crack myself up. I can
That
sit here in
part.
this office and just crack jokes and laugh all day. Ain't nobody got to be here.
That part.
here go the thing. If you don't want to be around you, what is it that makes you even think somebody else wants to? If you always got to be out and got to be around the crowd and got to be a part of this 7, 8 days a week, 24/7, you always got to be there. If you always got to be out there, you don't want to be by yourself. Why you? If you don't like you,
Mm. Who? Hmm. That's a reality for some people. That's a reality, a sad reality, but a reality.
but you know it, and I don't get me wrong. I ain't gonna say that it's a tough thing because there's some things on the journey that we all have to revisit.
Hmm.
But in order in this life, what I have discovered for me is that we talked about it before, I talked about it a lot, that you got to go back and close some doors. You got to go back and throw some dirt on some graves
Hmm.
because there are some things that we have to face because in order to move forward and understand that what God has placed, God has, I truly know with all of me, each and every one of us, God has a purpose. Because I serve a purpose for God. Okay, I
Yes, sir.
can't. I people might think I'm crazy, but there ain't nothing that He done created didn't have a purpose. Now we
Right.
may not know what some of the purposes is yet, but every single thing has a purpose.
Yeah.
If every single thing has a purpose, don't you know the one that he said he created in his own image? He didn't just go like, "Oh, I'm just bored. Let me just sit here." No,
Right. And created and said it was very good. Yeah.
we each have that purpose. But if we can't get rid of the stuff, I call it the distractions that have distracted us from the purpose. Because Lord knows, let me tell y'all, I don't know if folks know. I don't know. Maybe up in East Texas they ain't got none. But let me tell you, down here in Houston, they got one every second. And I call them distractions. Sometimes we get so distracted by the distractions, and that's what the distractions are there for. The distractions. Here go the thing about distractions. You know the thing about the distractions?
What's that?
They know what our purpose is. That's what they trying to distract us from.
Fat. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They know the distractions. I already know. Like, let me get that.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, because if she,
Mm.
if he
Yeah. Yeah.
discovers, ooh, let me throw some distractions.
Mm-hmm.
Let me throw this. Let me throw the money. Let me throw the relationship. Let me throw this. Whatever it may be. Let me chunk it out there. Because I need to pull them away from the purpose. So they starting to walk in that thing.
Trying to bait them.
Come on.
Trying to bait them. And we usually fall for the lure.
Like a big mouth bass.
Like big mouth bass. Trying to catch it and run with it. Trying to catch it and run with it. And them guys hooked.
Hey, look, we like them old cats. You know, cats, they like them old shiny little thing. You boy,
Mm-hmm.
you dangle one of them things at a cat, you keep it busy for hours. That's us. We so focused on the next and looking for the next dangly shiny little thing
Mm-hmm.
because pursuing purpose on purpose is work.
It's work. It's hard. Brings about pain, isolation.
Mm.
all of sacrifice.
Wow.
But there's a greater reward. A greater reward.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So, well, just speaking about that, have you, if you care to, some things that you've experienced in your growth that you may have had to shed off, or some things you were like, man, I didn't think that. Wow. Okay. Huh.
Um, I would say probably one of the greatest lessons I've learned. Uh, One, people are gonna be people, but just because they verbally support you
Mm. Ouch.
does not well. Just because they verbally support you, don't expect them to tangibly support you.
Mm.
That was a big lesson. I think early on in my journey of entrepreneurship, I found myself so disappointed because a lot of people said things and I had expectations of people because I thought we had a relationship. But you learn that as you continue to go up a certain ladder, really, I'm not even gonna say go up a certain ladder. When you really learn who you are and you really learn your purpose, then you understand everybody can't go where you're going.
Mm.
And you become, or you have to become okay with that. You have to become okay with that. I would say another thing I've had to learn is there's a difference in being um, available and accessible.
Mm.
That that is a fine line that I've had to learn to define for myself. Especially when you have a servant's heart, you want to serve, you want to be available. But of course, just like a newborn baby, the more you are available, the more susceptible you come to things. And so that was something I had to learn early on. Um, I would say what I'm learning in this current season is that it's okay to go against the grain. And one thing for me, I've never had a mentor, a business mentor. And I'm not going to apologize for being a woman of faith, but everything that I've done has literally been the Lord. Like,
Right.
that's just what it is. And a lot of the things he gives me, I'm like, man, that don't sound right. That's not what this book said. But I can say wholeheartedly that every time I followed his voice,
Right.
I got to where I desired to be quicker than trying to follow a 5 step, this is how you do this to get here. So I would say those are probably the main three things. Um, from a, I guess just being a person. Now,
Right.
speaking strictly to business, I would say the main thing I learned is you have to have systems, and they have to be real well-oiled systems. Yeah.
Mm. Wow. Wow. Yeah. And I like that. I mean, and you really do. And you have to be able to stick to it.
Hmm.
Um, I think a lot of people go in, one, they don't go in trusting, they don't go in following what is set forth for them. They want to, well, let me just kind of do it this way. Let me just kind of go ahead and do it like this. Uh, taking the yeah.
I take those shortcuts. That cooker cutty mentality does not. I don't say it does not work. It's not for everybody. And like I
Right.
know a lot of people used to always say, "Well, you don't have to reinvent the wheel." I believe that to a degree. To a degree, I believe that. But I think it's different for people who are really operating in purpose. Because I do believe you don't have to recreate it when it comes to professional things,
Right.
but you do have to recreate some things because there's some things that's only specific to your purpose, and that's individualized to you.
Yes. Yes. You know, ooh, what came to me when you just said that? There's nobody, personally, there's nobody that I fear to ever come to this platform. There's nobody that I fear. I don't care if they do. You can do what I do, but you can't do what I do.
How you do it?
Yeah. So I'm not in. I tell anybody I'm not in competition with now because God gave me a purpose.
Right.
Here's the thing: is that there are people that God has assigned for me to reach.
Mm-hmm.
And what you do, how you talk, how you dress, they were not assigned to you.
Right.
So why would I be mad at you for doing what you do, or jealous of you for doing what you do, or hating on you for doing what you do? You do what you called to do. And guess what? I will even welcome you because there might be 5 people listening here today, and only one of them listen to me, but the other 4 listen to you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All things work together for the good of those that love the Lord and are called. That's the part people miss. And that are called.
According to what? Its purpose.
They wear that first part out.
Word out. Highlight, yeah. But they don't want the stipulation to come with it.
That's what I want out. Now we're gonna put we're gonna put a pin in it right there. That's where it stopped at. But that part is for me that alleviates me from feeling any type of way in any environment. Um, I walk into a room. I'm supposed to be in that room because God put me in that room. I walk into a room. Anywhere I go there because He went before me.
Yeah.
When I drive home from work every day, the one thing I say is, God, you already know the road up ahead because you paved the way.
Yes, sir.
So when we can walk in that purpose, when we can walk in that confidence of whose we are, and walk in that, there's no worry about this, that, and the other, or baby, please.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-uh. And if we all had that, that removes so much envy, so much strife, so much hatred. Because you got this, and oh, how you get in, and you want to turn it. You know what I tell Coach? You know what I tell people?
What's that?
You can have what I have, but you have to go through what I went through to get it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the stipulation. See, a lot of people see where you're at. They don't know what it took to get there. You can't just have part of it, okay? You got to take all of it. You got to take the whole thing. You can't just be like, oh, I just want no, baby. You got to eat the whole pie, the
The whole
whole
time.
thing.
Crust and all. Crust and all.
All, all. Because this journey is real, but everybody's on it.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's on it. And everybody is on it. See, I truly believe that everybody has a story on this journey. Our testimony and the things that we go through on this journey is not for us. Because God has already instilled in us the strength, the courage, and the wisdom to pass through this thing. This thing, when others see, when they see you and they go like, man, because now they're watching you. And that's your testimony is for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's for those people. It's for them kids that come into your gym, your facility. It's for those adults that come into your facility that may never, ever, 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 ever have had a relationship with God, may not know nothing about no God, but what they have the opportunity to do is get to know the man through you,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
to get to know him through you. Some of us don't want to submit to being the best. Don't want to submit to. And I think that that's the thing. It's being able to submit to his will, his way,
Mm-hmm.
and following his purpose that he has placed in each one of us. And taking that vision and writing it and running. Writing it and running.
Yeah.
Well, look, I need you to tell me more about the business. I'm sorry. Look, I told you what to do. You got
You helping me too.
you got to like look, tell us more about your business, where you're located, how people can I'm gonna come up there and work out.
Come on. Come on.
Y'all got wait, hey, y'all got chicken? Y'all got chicken shack near the workout facility?
Nah, we ain't got no chicken shack.
Okay, well I can't come work out there. But I got to have I gotta have some fried chicken.
We got Chick-fil-A close to us.
Hey!
We got a barbecue spot right beside us, but I mean, you know. But no, so we are located at 2109 West Frank in Lufkin, Texas. And not hard to find. Anything as far as learning more about the services we provide can be seen on our website or our Instagram, which is just Fifth QP, Fifth Quarter Performance, which is an acronym actually for Fit and Faith Through Hope. Like I said, it's not. I'm not. I'm not big on like. I'm just not big on talking about myself. But
We talking about the business. You talking about the business. You talking about the
but
business.
I guess that's still a part of me. I mean, service we provide, we do have general fitness memberships where you can just come work out on your own. We have sports performance training, which we're really diving into the science behind sports performance training and the technology, taking the guesswork out. We have skill development training for basketball and for volleyball, little golf performance. So we're still slowly but surely expanding, our vision of to really be able to serve the total athlete, prayerfully in the next. Well, I won't tell that secret yet. We're waiting on the Lord for the next phase. I will leave it with that.
There you go.
But that's it. Like anything, like I said, you really want to know about it. We're online. I'm online. One of the biggest things I do really want to develop though too is a mentorship for other coaches because again, had I not gone to Dallas and been exposed to those things, I probably never would have known they're available
Right.
until I've gotten older. And so what I've learned even here in this area, being about 18 miles from Stephen F. Austin, which is a
Mhm.
university, they don't really have a degree plan that specializes in the science side or intern. Let me
Really?
say internship. They don't have
Okay.
an internship right now. They have a degree plan, but not an internship. So, but I think it just becomes that a lot of times we 2 to 3 years behind the curve, and until a person knows that that is a possibility, they always either look outside of East Texas or they look in a different direction. So that's one thing. And then from a mentoring standpoint for athletes we work with, it's just teaching them how to leverage sports. So you may not play in college, you may not be a professional player, but you could be an IT tech, software engineer, sound engineer, broadcast, commentator, whatever it is that you can still be around sports
Right.
and be around the game that you love, pursue your purpose, and still get paid well.
There you go.
So,
Wow. Wow. Well, that is excellent. And again, your website is
fifth FIFTHQP.com, fifthqp.com.
fifthqp.com. Fifth, all the way up there in East Texas, right down the road from Stephen, whatever his name is, Stephen King. I mean Stephen F. Austin, my bad.
Stephen F. Austin. Yes, sir.
Look, before we shut her down, and I'm gonna tell you when you was talking, I had to run you past that thing because you I said that here, we just have open dialogue. There is no question. Well, that's kind of lie. I have one question that I asked all my guests, and it's something, and I asked it because it was something that I had to ask myself, and It's very, very, very important. And you touched on it earlier, and I was like, wow. So I'm going to have you revisit it, and I'm going to ask you the one question. And it's very simple, maybe complicated. And that question is to you, Coach, what is your why?
My why. My why is to be a disciple. And whatever I do, my why is to be a disciple and make sure that I do my part in building God's kingdom. And in this particular season in life, that particular vehicle right now for me is sports.
Hey, you got look. Oh, you was ready for it. You know,
Yeah,
like,
that's my why.
man, I got. Well, I thank you so very much for taking the time out. I thank you for coming. Um, you know, when the old stranger reached out and you go like, "Oh Lord, let me pray on this." Why? Well, well, I thank you so very much, and thank you for the work that you're doing. But more importantly, thank you for walking in your purpose on purpose, and building continually to help build the kingdom. That's what it's all about. That is what it's all about. Um, and I thank each and every one of y'all for tuning in. Boy, look here. We done made another show. Diggity dog. Well, look, and you know what? Look, you the last show of the month. You done closed out the month. They don't get to see me no more until next month. But I thank you. I thank you. Continued success, continued blessings to you. And know that anytime you may need this old country boy, I'm just right down the road here. Anything that I can do, anything that this show can do, we're always here. And you family now,
We
so you know
family.
he's family now. He's part of the family. Don't even worry about it. But I thank you, and I thank y'all for tuning in. I thank y'all for watching. I thank y'all for y'all support. It means so very much. It means a lot, and I greatly appreciate it. Miss Julie, you know I love you beyond a shadow of a doubt. But to each and every one, I will say this, and you know how I close this thing out, and this how I'm gonna close. Well, wait a minute. Before I close, are there any last words that you want to leave?
Who, me?
You all
Uh,
the way to me, Texas.
last thing I would say is the joy is in the journey. That
Mm,
last thing I say.
the joy is in
The
the
joy is
journey.
in the journey.
It is. I like that. The joy is in the journey. Man. Well, look here. Y'all know how I leave this thing, and I leave it just like this. Is that to each and every one, I say you this. God has given us each a purpose, and He's given us a vision. It doesn't matter who believes in you, who supports you, who roots for you, or who boos on you, who talks about you, tell you you're too short, you're too tall, you're too skinny, you're too fat, you're too old, you're too young. Don't worry about that because God has given you that vision and He's placed that purpose inside of you. Don't quit. Don't quit, don't give up, and don't give in. Because if God has given you the vision, trust me, trust this old country boy right here. You've heard her story. If God has given you the vision, He will provide the provision for the vision. But you just got to keep on going. And you know, I support you. I support you, but more so, I support the vision and I support the purpose. Why you say, why would he do that? Because let me tell you something. If God put the purpose in you and he gave you the vision, why would I not support what God has given you? That'd be crazy on my behalf. I would be crazy not to support what God. If God believes in you, who am I to not?
Hmm.
What did it say? If God be for us, then who be against us? I support you. I support what you're doing. And I stand on that 10 toes down. But not least, as I get ready to wrap it on up, if you woke up this morning and you open your eyes, I had to change that. When you woke up this morning and you open your eyes, And you cleaned out your ears because you could not hear the wonderful words that I'm about to say. And if you was out today, I don't know what the temperature was in East Texas, but it was 2,708,000 degrees when the rain stopped in Houston. It rained and then it got hot. If you was out there today sweating or wringing wet, trying to hear these words, but you didn't. Well, here it is right now, 9:13 Houston time. I love you. I love you. Each and every one of you. I love you. And I love you unconditionally. Let me tell you at the end of the month what that means, just like I said at the beginning. Unconditionally means whether you support me, whether you like me, whether you hate me, whether you talk about me, whether you come to see me, whether you call me, no matter what, I still love you. Because guess what? My unconditional love is not tied to what you do to me. My unconditional love for you is tied to God and what He tells me. So I love you unconditionally. And there ain't nothing, absolutely positively nothing that you can do about it. Coach, thank you so very much. I look forward to having you back. And one of these days, yeah, I come in. No, I ain't gonna come in session workouts. I ain't even tell that. Look, I will come tour the facility. How about that?
Come on, come be my guest. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so very much. It has been a pleasure, and I look forward to you coming back.
Yes, sir.
All right. Good night, y'all. We out of here.